But we, the people of India, standing behind the government, have the ability to hit China where it hurts. We, the people of India. We, the people of India.
大家好，我是老吴。之前我做过3期关于印度人解读印度的视频，反响还不错，我会把视频连接放在评论区。今天这期我们继续来看一看印度。今天主要分享的是2位印度知名主持人的电视节目片段。这2位的风格可以说相当引人注目，分别被网友称为印度的甲亢哥和甲亢姐。我们先从最近印度和巴基斯坦的冲突说起。到目前为止，印巴双方的官方媒体都宣称自己是胜利一方。关于这次冲突的一些数据，我这里给大家参考一下美国 CNN 的报道。根据 CNN 的数据，在近期印巴冲突中，印度方面损失了6架战机，包括2架阵风战机，损失无人机553架，1个防空系统被摧毁，11个空军基地受到影响。人员方面，21名士兵死亡，19名平民丧生。巴基斯坦这方面损失无人机78架，1名士兵和13名平民死亡，3个空军基地受影响，没有战机、防空系统或者坦克损失。所以显然是巴基斯坦赢了，不然的话，以南亚霸主印度的秉性，显然是不会同意停战的。不过我们还是来看看这位印度甲亢姐是怎么说的。
When this conflict began, we told you about how the stock markets fell. The only exception was defense stocks. They kept rising because military conflicts are opportunities for defense firms to showcase their wars and to sell more weapons. And increasingly, they push propaganda, even fake news, in a bid to position themselves as superior. The Chinese have been at the forefront of this. They try to sell 2 agendas. First, their jets are the best, and second, their missiles are the best. The reality? These are just Chinese whispers. We know China has given 2 frontline jets to Pakistan, the JF-17 and the J-10. These are the Chinese jets that Pakistan has, JF-17, J-10. Pakistan Air Force has been using them, and China says their planes shot down Indian jets. Their evidence? Social media. That's what Pakistan's defense minister said when he was asked for evidence. But here's the reality. In 4 days of fighting, India hit at least 11 Pakistani air bases, including those where Chinese jets were deployed. These jets could not defend against the Indian strikes. Now let's look at the Chinese missiles. The PL-15 is their most prized air-to-air missile. Pakistan has this missile, and it used the PL-15 and it failed multiple times. The missiles were seen lying intact in India's Punjab. No detonation, no hits, just duds. Even China does not know how to cover this up. So they resorted to more propaganda. China's mouthpiece said Pakistan's JF-17 destroyed India's S-400 air defense system. Using what? A hypersonic missile, apparently. China says Pakistan used a hypersonic missile. I'm sure even the Pakistanis did not know that they had this weapon. The fact is they don't. Pakistan does not have any hypersonic weapons. The Chinese themselves do not have an air-launched hypersonic missile. And India was quick to debunk the Chinese claims.
Pakistan has also attempted to execute a continued malicious misinformation campaign with claims of destruction of Indian S-400 system at Adampur, destruction of airfields at Suratgarh and Sirsa. India unequivocally rejects these false narratives being spread by Pakistan.
So India's S-400 has not been hit. It is still protecting the skies. Why was China so desperate to show it in bad light? Because their own defense systems have failed. You see, the S-400 is made by Russia. It has a Chinese copy too, a Chinese copy that is called the HQ-9. And Pakistan's air bases are defended by the Chinese HQ-9. It's a system that has failed completely. The Indian Air Force hit 11 Pakistani bases. So let me sum this up for you. In the last 4 days, Chinese jets, Chinese missiles, and Chinese air defense systems have all failed. So Beijing is trying to save face with propaganda, and that too is failing. Now let's look at the Americans. They've got skin in this game too. American media says that Indian jets were shot down, including the Rafale. Their proof? Pakistani defense sources, unidentified French intelligence officials, and unnamed US defense officials. Basically no proof, just hunches as of now. Why would the Americans push this then? What do they stand to gain by backing the Pakistani line? Well, it suits the American narrative. They want to show that American jets are better than the French-made Rafale. Notably, Rafale has been India's top pick. The Air Force has 36 of them. The Indian Navy just signed a deal for 26 Rafales, and India is in the market for more jets, more than 100 jets. The Rafale remains the front runner, but the Americans want India to buy their jets, like the F-18 Super Hornet, the same one that keeps falling off their aircraft carrier in the Red Sea. The Trump administration is also pushing for the sale of the F-35 stealth jet. This is the same America that once threatened India with sanctions. You may remember this. This is when we bought the S-400 systems from Russia, because India picked the Russian S-400 over the US-made THAAD defense system. And now they're pulling out all kinds of tricks to sell their aircraft. So here's the big picture. China is trying to defend its weapons that failed to perform. The US is trying to show the French Rafales in poor light to sell their jets. What is India doing about this? India is showing the world the power of its own weapons, the homemade ones, like the Akash air defense systems and the BrahMos missiles, both of which were used in the last few days. The Indian-made weapons have been exceptional. They defended and attacked with precision. This is a success story for India's defense industry. We have built the technology and the capability that delivers on time and on target.
看完甲亢姐的节目，是不是觉得印度又赢麻了？对于此次印巴双方同意停火，美国总统特朗普表示这是他的功劳。不过对特朗普的这番表态，印度的甲亢哥表示强烈不满。
Here's case of overstepping. It is not the job of the President of the United States to make a claim when we haven't even agreed that this is a matter which requires his intervention. I mean, with the greatest of respect to the American President, he has no idea about the ground situation. He has no idea about what's happening here. Till a few days back, he said that this is not for him to look into. And now he's congratulating both countries trying to be a global peacemaker. And I think this is beyond him. I strongly object to the fact that the US president is saying that he has sorted out the conversation between two countries. I think President Trump does not understand the importance of difference between back channel talks or informal diplomacy or clandestine diplomacy or overt diplomacy. Somebody should
think this is typical Trump overreach?
This is typical Trump overreach. This is typical Trump overreach at a time when he does not have a mandate to do so. And I think it becomes incumbent right now for the government to start the press conference, which we were promised at 5:30. If this was a calibrated announcement, which I do not know anything about, then really we will hear, we will go, Republic will go by what our Prime Minister says. Republic will go by what the Foreign Secretary of India says and what the Indian forces says. It is wrong for Donald Trump to go out and make an announcement, but this is typical.
And the fact that he's saying, and the fact, Arnav, he's saying that overnight negotiations, while we had the worst of fighting between the two sides.
Where are the negotiations overnight? Where are the negotiations overnight? Who has mandated him to have those negotiations overnight? Last night we were pummeling them back after they tried to send their drones. Last night there were people in Firozpur who were injured. Last night there were 36 places where they tried to do incursions, and we have hit them back. And a ceasefire is not a phone call. It is not like one of those things that happen on WhatsApp. I mean, Donald Trump should get real about the situation. I will completely go by what my government says.
And Trump has failed for the 5 months with Russia and Ukraine.
But that's not the point.
He has announced 4 times.
Trump is too eager. Trump is jumping the gun, and I do not believe that this can be the kind of announcement that can be taken seriously as an announcement.
看完这一段，相信大家对印度这位甲亢哥的犀利风格已经有了一个初步的了解。不过我之前还看过这位甲亢哥更加火力全开的视频。接下来这一段是他以前在节目中批评中国的视频。
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. There is fantastic news on top of this week today. About half an hour back, I received the first call from one of my sources at the highest levels of the government. And the call was simple. It said, Arnab, we have blocked 59 apps. And among those apps is TikTok. Ladies and gentlemen, within 5 minutes of that, I got details from the government of the names of all the 59 apps which have been blocked. Now, I'm going to put out the names of all these apps. But before I I go into details of who these apps are, and you'll know it. Many of you may be users of these apps, viewers and fellow Indians. We really need to support what the government is doing now. We've been through the childish politics last week, but let us understand the 3 or 4 things that the Modi government is doing, and it's doing it completely right. And let us also remember, viewers, today, that it is a big battle that the government of India, duly elected, is fighting on behalf of more than 130 crore Indians. More than 130 crore Indians. When we stand behind the government of India, believe me, viewers, nobody can challenge India anywhere on this planet on which we live. But we need to understand the straight, resolute reasons behind what the government is doing. Now, I think there are 6 reasons we need to look at. The first is, and I'll use 6 words today. First word, symbolism. What a brilliant move in terms of symbolism. A signal we send to the whole world. In one move, we wipe out 59 Chinese apps. A signal that we, the people of India, viewers, we, the people of India, not just the government democratically elected, but we, the people of India, standing behind the government, have the ability to hit China where it hurts. We, the people of India, we, the people of India. Not just our army men on the borders, but we, the people of India, we, when asked, will forsake any app, will forsake anything to make sure that our national interest stands first. So I think in terms of symbolism, it's just fantastic. Reason 2, viewers. My second word I used tonight. Suddenness. The sheer suddenness of the move, the unexpected nature of the move, the unpredictability of the move, the fact that there was no warning to the Chinese. They don't know what hit them. Now the Chinese will know. Now the Chinese will know that when we want to act, we shall act as we wish without warning. That we shall move in stealth and attack when necessary. Reason number 3, and this is Naya Bharat, viewers. The new India. The India which in 10 years is on its way to being a superpower. The reason number 3, viewers. We know our strength. Word number 3, viewers. Phrase rather, the economic battle. That we, the people of India, not just our government, we are ready to fight the economic battle. That we do not put out empty threats into the air anymore. No, we don't. We will fight the economic battle. The military will fight the military battle. The diplomatic corps will fight the international battle. We, the people of India, will fight the economic battle. We don't put out empty threats anymore. We have the ability, the reason, the confidence to fight the economic battle. And the 4th reason, viewers, phrase which I used tonight, is the global impact of this move. The best part of this is it will severely damage Chinese global interests. Each one of these apps represents a business, and businesses are linked. And viewers, I believe the Chinese Communist Party controls most of these businesses. There's going to be a chain reaction, a domino effect. Global Times, publish if you have the courage what I'm telling you today. Global Times of China, mouthpiece of your dictatorial government. The 4th point I'm making to you is this. This is going to have a beautiful ripple effect, a domino effect. The valuation of these companies will be affected. When you take away the world's largest country, largest democracy out of your business axiom, when you go to New York or you go to Chile or you go to Antigua, the first thing they'll ask you, why does the government of India not let you operate in India? There's going to be no reason for that. We take away a large part of the global market away from the realm of operation of these Chinese companies. Believe me, viewers, they will bite dust. The 5th word, the word some people mocked when it started, when it was used by the Prime Minister, but which truly, if understood with clarity, is our future. Atmanirbharta, ladies and gentlemen. We have Indian options. Indian options. We have global options. We have Indian options, we have Korean options. We have Japanese options, we have Swadeshi options. But why do we need TikTok or Zoom for that matter? Zoom is not apparently on the list right now, I'm told, viewers. I'm surprised it's not. We'll have to find out why. But the bottom line is this. Why do we need TikTok? Why do we need WeChat? Why do we need Share It? Why do we need these companies? These companies need us. We do not need these companies. We have multiple Indian options. And the message will go beyond China. You hurt our sovereign interests, you will not have access to our people. Which takes me to reason number 6. And this now becomes a matter of personal and national pride. My dear fellow countrymen, we have a lot of differences. We battle each other. We fight. We attack. We argue. We debate. That's what this show is about. But at the end of it, all of us, with all our myriad differences, add to the diversity of our nation. We are a nation. We are not just a market. We are a nation. We are not a market, and you cannot mint our market if you are infringing on our nation. Our national interests come first. The fact that you have access to the Indian market cannot come at the cost of overriding our national interest. And on this matter, all state governments in India will all come together right now. You cannot divide India anymore. India has been united. You cannot mint our market while infringing on our nation.
最后给大家要播放的2个片段是印度甲亢哥批评美国的内容，之前在互联网上也引起过不少关注。如果大家之前没看过，那这次一定不要错过。
I am really shocked. It's the only way I can put it, that India, which claims to be neutral and sympathetic, at least to the humanitarian crisis, is negotiating a deal with Russia for 12 Su-30 aircraft right now as we speak.
I do not understand anymore, and it's becoming frustrating that any discussion regarding this war becomes a discussion on India. This is not our war. You are the ones with the biolabs in Ukraine. You are the ones, Joe Biden's son was doing all kinds of business in Ukraine. You are vested in Ukraine. You are pushing Ukraine. You are encouraging Ukraine. And yesterday, your president went and said, listen, Zelensky, if you want to give up territory, it's your choice. You have hung the Ukrainians out to dry, Dove, and how dare you question India all the time?
What you're seeing is the West organize solidarity against Russia.
West,
the nations
Professor Kapchin.
We're seeing serious sanctions against Russia.
Yeah.
Most of the world is coming together against Russia. India should get off the fence.
Okay, now I'll tell you something, Professor Kapchin. And I hope that you will allow me a decent response, and then Ambassador Pawan Verma will respond to you. I see John wants to respond to you. First, I'd like to. First of all, with the greatest of respect, Professor Charles Kapchin, you have no moral standing to talk. You are in no position. You as in America is in no position to pretend to be the guardian of democracy and human rights. You are the worst perpetrator of atrocities. You, in Barack Obama in 2011, intervened in a nascent Libyan civil war, using the NATO and Arab League partners, prolonging the war for 1 decade. You launched armed conflict in at least 6 countries. Iraq, Syria, Yemen, Somalia, Niger. You carry out drone strikes. You've killed thousands with your drone strikes. You run Guantanamo Bay. You're dealing with India. We're a big country. We're not your satellite state. So don't lecture us on what we need to do. We are going to look out for yourself. You use the phrase geopolitical expediency in place of values. You lecture me as an American to an Indian on values, and you say that we are acting in geopolitical expediency. Allow me to complete. Allow me to complete, sir. Allow me to complete. Where were your values? Where were your values? Where were your values when in the first 2 months of the US invasion of Iraq, 7,186 Iraqi civilians were direct casualties of the war? Was that your expediency? Was that an expression of your values, Professor Kapchin?
好，今天关于这两位印度主持人的节目片段就分享到这里。看完这些内容，相信大家对印度媒体的风格会有一个更为立体的印象。那今天的分享就到这里，感谢大家的收看，我们下次见。